I'm Trio. Welcome to You've Got This, Sis. I believe there are times we need a sis to see us for who we are, where we are, exactly how we are, and then see all that we can be. The sis that can do that with each of us is a real treasure. I've had my moments, sis. I realize that our connections to one another are absolutely gold. I know there are times that we journey solo, and there are times we journey with others. Both are completely necessary for our growth and increased strength as women. You are here with me, and I am here with you. And we will journey wherever you are now to your best self, always. Welcome to You've Got This, Sis. Hey there, if you hear snow crunching beneath my car, it's because there's snow on the ground, and sometimes the only time I get to be able to record is when I'm by myself in a car. So this week I wanted to take a minute and focus our thoughts and our intentions on gratitude. I just finished with some thought processes that led me to a deep amount of gratitude in my heart for you all and for the things that we all face in our life. And the place that I'm coming from is that I want to express gratitude for all that I've experienced, and that includes the difficult and the hard and the things that have not been ideal, because they have made me even more of who I am than I ever was before. The test of the difficult and the hard and really testing who each of us is, I believe causes us to really dig deep and find out exactly what makes each of us unique and what makes us real. And each of our roads and paths will be so different than another. But at the same time, they will have similar lines of emotions and feelings, and no experience will be the same, but they will have similarities between the two in which we can share and also be able to connect, and in that way boost each other, strengthen one another, and help learn and grow from one another. So today I was thinking of sharing a few experiences from my life that I felt were very difficult at the time, and look back at them now with quite a bit of fondness and appreciation and gratitude, because for one, I'm still here. They didn't win, and out of those experiences I found more confidence in who I am. I experienced what I'm made of, what my realness consists of, and who I am. And granted, I know that, I'm gonna continue to figure that out as my lifetime continues. It's a journey, and so no path, I think, is really known. It's continually evolving, continually being discovered, and that's what's exciting. When I was 16, I'm going to share this story with you. When I was 16, I was just really down in the dumps and pretty depressed, and woe is me, because I grew up in the same small town my whole life with one stoplight. I went to school with all the kids that I started school with when I was 5, and I had come to a realization that even though all those kids were great and amazing, I really felt very much alone, or as if I had one good friend, and I really just felt like I needed a change of pace, and I needed a change of environment, and I really felt a pull that I needed to change something in my life so that I could grow. And I didn't know exactly why that was coming my direction. I didn't necessarily understand what would come from kind of that trust of you have this emotion of pulling you towards something different, of pulling you towards a change, but yet change is scary, change is unknown, it's really difficult. And oftentimes we'll think of, yes, I want the change, but then following through on it is the hardest part because it's the doing. And that change that occurred for me at 16, I was turning 17 that year, was that my parents allowed me to move from my hometown, and go ahead and move to another state. Now, my dad framed this for him as if this was it was my foreign exchange student opportunity because, anything outside of Georgia is a little foreign. And so it, for him, was my foreign exchange opportunity. Now, it was very difficult for them. It was difficult for me. I look back at that time with an immense amount of gratitude to my parents and to the 17-year-old young woman that I was, because she was daring and brave and bold enough to first talk to her parents about such a crazy idea, and then two, she followed through on that change, on that dream, on that goal, really without a blink of an eye. Now, it was exciting and it was fun, and when you're 16 turning 17, you really are excited about fun new things, and so I looked at that as such an opportunity of growth and of creating more friendships, and it was really a wonderful time in my life. And I would not change any of that for anything, because it gave me an opportunity to, for one, be independent, more independent than I ever was. I did live with family friends of ours, and so I did, in a way, still have mom and dad, and I had sisters at that time, which were my good friends, and we, life was different for me, but it was so good different, and I just look back at that time with such fondness. And there were times that I was homesick. There were times I missed my family, and there were times that I missed things that had made me who I was, being able to ride horses or go to my ballet studio, things like that. But I created a new environment for myself where I was, and that was a new ballet studio that I would go to, and it was finding new things that soon became part of me. So that was a story that I wanted to share, because I feel like I did something that was difficult, that was out of the box, and really bold at that time for myself. Another thing that I will just touch on and highlight that I am very appreciative of and have a lot of gratitude for, but it was as hard as anything, like the hardest thing I've probably ever done. And that is going to nursing school and getting my bachelor's as a nurse with 4 young boys, and really being bold enough to jump back into the world of school and being a student at 30 years old when I had a 3-month-old baby. And not only that, all of my credits that I had completed for my first bachelor's degree now were expiring, like by the month. And for me to return to get my bachelor's as a nurse, I had to go ahead and retake all of the prerequisites that expired. And so that's why when my baby boy, my last one, was 3 months old, I started back to school to get my prerequisites so that in time I could go and apply for nursing school. When my baby boy was 2, I interviewed for it was the fast track program for nursing, and I thought, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to get accepted into this program because it's going to spit me out in 18 months, and I'll have my nursing degree, and I will have done the hard thing, and I'll have time with the family. And I didn't. I interviewed for that program, and I did not get accepted. And one of the questions they asked me once they found out I had 4 children at home was, do you have help? And I said, no, I don't have help. And they asked me, will you be looking to hire a nanny? And I was like, no. In my mind, I'm like, we don't have money for a nanny. And so their question was, how are you going to do this program that's going to take all of your time from 6 in the morning till probably 9 at night or 10 at night and still be able to function with your family? And luckily they thought about that for me and knew that that wasn't going to fit well with my family and, being away from any support system that we have other than, our immediate little tribe that we have. And so I wasn't accepted into the program, and I had to reapply. And so that put me applying like another year later. And when I applied a year later, I did get into the traditional nursing program. And my baby was 3 when I started, and I had never had to find a daycare before in my life. I didn't know what questions to ask for somebody that was going to be caring for my child for the majority of the day. And I didn't know how to go about finding that and also feeling comfortable with the results that I found. I will say that after we moved into the neighborhood where we lived, we would go on walks as a family. And there was a house in the neighborhood that was always very cute. The owner decorated her door, and it was very festive. And I would notice out in front of their house a sign every once in a while that was, she did an in-home daycare. And, after years and years of walking around the neighborhood, I said to myself and to my husband, one day I said, if I ever needed a daycare, that is where I would want to go. Not knowing that in my future, I would need a daycare. And so when it came time to find a daycare for our 3-year-old son and him never ever being at a daycare, I was able to contact this lady who I had heard great things about, and I felt very just, I guess, blessed that she was right in our neighborhood, really right around the corner from where we lived, and that I could walk our son to pick him up, take him, and then we could easily pick him up. And it was a great fit for us. We got to know the lady that ran the daycare, and she was just an amazing woman, and we got to know her family. And I felt great comfort in knowing that when the time came and I said to myself, yes, if I ever need a daycare, that's where I'm going to want to go. And then when it came time, I was able to start there first. And she was really helpful in so many different ways. she answered all of our questions and helped us to think of questions that we should ask, and was just very open and transparent about the whole process. And I always felt very comfortable taking our son there and picking him up. And I felt like he was with me, even though he wasn't, because she was a stay-at-home mama too, and she was providing him care. And I knew that she was taking the best care of him that was possible, next to, having mom there. And so I just am so grateful for that as well, that experience, and knowing that I was shown something long before I ever needed it. And that to me is it gave me a lot of peace of mind. I did my 2 years of nursing school. I got my bachelor's as a nurse, and I would leave the house some mornings before I would see the kids, go do my clinicals, and then they would sometimes be in bed when I would get home from doing school and studying and writing papers and preparing for tests and things like that. And it was really hard. But I have such gratitude in my heart that we were able to do that, and that my boys were able to see me do something very, very hard and challenging, and that I succeeded and graduated and am now able to work. And it's just amazing. One other story that I'll relate to you is about timing. Of course, COVID hit about a year ago, and it's really interesting because I was in my doctorate program to complete being a doctor of nursing practice or nurse practitioner, and I was on track to graduate in 2020. Well, 2018 rolled around, and the winter of 2018, I ended up taking a break, we'll say, from my program. And it's very interesting to me because it wasn't a break by my choice. It was a break, a stop sign, we will say, that was put in my path, and it was very abrupt, and I didn't understand it. And a year later, COVID hit, and all of my people were now at home. All of my people were now doing online school and working from home. And if I was in the middle of trying to do my own program, I would not have been available to them like they needed. And they needed somebody to say, hey, let's go for a walk. They needed somebody there to support them emotionally, because as you all know, doing Zoom school and all of that stuff, even COVID itself was creating such anxiety, that there just needed to be somebody stable, somebody that could hear the emotions that were going on, somebody that could see the emotions going on when nobody was really talking about them. And so I was available and able to be present, to keep everybody fed, and to also be emotionally. And really, honestly, for me, it's being very present, because if I was doing my own program, I would not have been present for them. I would have been doing my own clinicals. I would have been doing my own schoolwork, tests, all of it, preparing to take boards. And so I look back at that time, and I am so thankful that even though it's not what I wanted or thought was my plan, or come on, let's just say it, that wasn't part of my journey, right? It wasn't my path that I thought I was on. And all of a sudden, there's a fork in the road, and I'm forced to take the fork. And the fork ended up being exactly what we all needed. And so there will be things and times that are in your life that you may not be choosing, but that will be exactly what is there for you and what you need. And hopefully one day you can look back on that and recognize that, yes, it was hard. And yes, that's not what I would have chosen, and that wasn't part of my plan, but I get it. And so now I actually started working in our school district here as a school nurse. And it's the first time in my life that I get to go to work, and I'm really excited about it. And I have worked before where I get very anxious and very nervous and things, because there's a lot of unknown when you are a nurse going into a hospital and working in a place that gets ER patients, as well as post-surgical patients, as well as, like, we took everything and we were doing a wide range of care. And that created a lot of anxiety for me. And I liked my job, but I did not have excitement about going. It was more anxiety than anything about going. And I would be fine once I got there, but it was very challenging for me. And so with this job that I actually have recognized and realized, oh my word, I am so excited. I get to go to the schools, and I get to be a school nurse, and I get to see kids of all ages, and they're adorable when they're little, and when they're middle-aged, like middle school and stuff, they're really stepping into owning their own responsibilities and being helped along that way. And then in high school, they're pretty independent and learning to be young adults. And I love seeing all the different stages. It's really amazing. And I have to just say that I love the energy that the kids have. I love the energy that's in the schools and in the learning environment. And I feel truly, truly thankful that I've been able to have this opportunity. And I did look at this job opportunity back in the fall, in October, and I actually had filled out my application, and I had gotten a phone call, and we set up an interview date. And the day before the interview came, I just had this feeling like it's not the right time. And it didn't make sense to me, but I usually always am really good about listening to those little insights that I have. And so I called them and I said, look, I have an interview set up for tomorrow. I really am excited about this opportunity to work at the school, but I don't feel like this is the right time. I feel like there's some things going on with my family and that I need to be present for them right now. And they were the best about that. They said, yes, we totally understand. You do need to take care of your people first. Please keep us in mind. And I said, yes, I will. And please do the same for me. And then, a few months later, I actually felt ready to follow through with this. Like, the timing was right. It was going to work out the way it was supposed to. I was good. And so I called them back and said, hey, I'd really like to interview for this position. If it's still available, will you let me know? And you guys, they got back to me right away, because we are in dire need of nurses, if you haven't noticed, like everywhere. And so they got back to me right away. And not only that, the interview went amazing. I wasn't anxious at all. I wasn't nervous at all. It's the first time in my life where I felt that way. And I left thinking, you know what? If this is supposed to work out, it will. I've done the best I can. I may not be perfect, but I am perfect in my efforts. And they called me like that day, offered me the position. And then as I was doing orientation, thinking that I am going to be sent to different schools as the nurses needed help, that was going to be my plan. Well, they came to me and they said, you know what? Would you actually be willing to go to this school for us? Because one of the nurses is leaving and we actually need help there. Would that be something you would consider? And do you know what the coolest thing is the place that they wanted to send me is a place that I knew. My kids, from our oldest starting kindergarten to him going through 5th grade, and then the second doing the same, and the third, my kids all had gone to the school they were asking me to go to. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing, because I do like stability. I like predictability. And so I like consistency. And I was so excited because I could be at the same school every week until school ends. And that's exactly what my personality needs. Not only that, is I was stepping back into a place and in a way that I was going back in my mind back home, because we had created such a network of friends and teachers and people that knew our family and knew us and knew me, that they have been very welcoming to have me there as the school nurse. And that's been the coolest thing. And I know that that is not just a coincidence. And so when I say I just have to express gratitude today, I do. I need to express gratitude for the awareness of me and my life, and being so highly prioritized, because that's how I feel, that I am important, and that not all things go right in life, but when we follow the right timing and we listen to our heart and our mind and our bodies, that we can be guided to the right time for the right opportunities. And that's what I want to leave with you today, is I want you to not beat yourself up for not being perfect, because you are perfect. You are actually perfect exactly how you are, because you're trying your best. And when you try your best, you're giving your best effort. And you can be perfect in giving your best effort. And there's nobody that can fault you for not doing more than you can in your own perfect way. I love you. You've got this. Go rock your week, win your day, and know that I have got your back, and we are going to dance through this life together. Come hell or high water, I am here for you, and we are going to appreciate those things that break us down and make us real, and also lift us and help us become perfect in our efforts. Thanks for being here. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you for being here with me today. I hope that you have an amazing day and week. Until next time, sis, be sure to remember that you've got this. Also, go on and check out ygtsis.com. There you can find out what we're up to, podcasts, YouTube videos, and even the shop. Don't worry, it's a great place to be. It's a little bit of unwinding. It's a whole lot of real, and it's exactly what you need. Go check it out, ygtsis.com.